gentlemen, I give you a warm welcome once again on SLTV Lab. My name is Shadrach Habumurimi. Today I'm going to show you the video about anatomy of the respiratory system. Please stick on this video up to the end. You're going to know more about respiratory system. Please, and don't forget to press subscribe button. Guys, let's see the anatomy of the respiratory system. The respiratory system has two main parts. It has the upper respiratory tract and the lower respiratory tract. So the upper respiratory tract is made up of the nasal cavity or the cavity of the nose. There is bronchial cavity or cavity of the mouth. There is pharynx and larynx. So we are going to see this upper respiratory tract in details. Let's start with the nasal cavity. There are some of the sinus that helps in respiration. This is frontal sinus. Then there is sphenoid sinus. They are around the nasal cavity. Then this is the nasal cavity. Then here is the nasal vestibule. These are what we can see around the nasal cavity. Then we see the oral cavity or buccal cavity, the cavity within the mouth. Then here we see the pharynx. Below the pharynx we see the epiglottis. Then we see the vocal fold at the larynx. Then in front of the vocal fold we see the thyroid cartilage, and below the thyroid cartilage we see the cricoid cartilage. There it is at the beginning of the trachea. The lower respiratory tract. We start from the trachea, then at the junction where the trachea gives out two branches, it is called the carina of the trachea. Then we see primary bronchi. There are two, the left and the right one. Then we see the secondary bronchi. After secondary bronchi, we see the branches of secondary bronchi, which are the tertial bronchi. Then after the tertial bronchi, we see the bronchioles. And this is the bronchial tree. Apart from just saying it is lower respiratory tract, it is also called the bronchial tree. Good. Guys, when you look inside the lungs, the bronchi are divided into groups. Let's start from the right lung. The first group of bronchi supplies the superior lobe of the right lung. Then another group of bronchi supplies the middle lobe of the right lung. Then down here we see a group of other bronchi that supplies air to the inferior lobe of the right lung. Then we go to the left lung. There is first group that supplies air to the superior lobe of the left lung. Then there is another group here. It's a group that supplies air to the lingular division. The lingular part, we are going to see it. There is one part of the left lung called lingular. Down here we see a group of bronchi that supplies air to the inferior lobe. Good. This is what we call lingular of the lung. It is like a tongue of the lung. It is found on the left lung. Let's see what we can find out externally on the trachea and the lungs. Let's start from the trachea. The ring-like part of the trachea is called the cartilage. The trachea has so many cartilages. And then between two cartilages, it is called annular ligament or intercartilaginous ligament. It's a ligament between cartilage. Good. Then let's start from the right lung. The right lung has three lobes. The one that we see, it is called superior lobe. It is followed by the middle lobe, and below the middle lobe you find the inferior lobe. And let's see what separates these lobes. Actually, the separation between lobes is called fissure. Let's see now what separates the superior and the middle lobe. It is called the horizontal fissure. You see, it is horizontal. Then what separates the middle lobe and the inferior lobe is called the oblique lobe. As you can see, it is oblique. Then let's go to the left lung. The left lung has only two lobes. There is superior lobe and there is the inferior lobe, which are separated by the left oblique fissure. You see, even the right lung has an oblique fissure, so the difference is one is the left oblique fissure, another one is the right oblique fissure. And these fissures, they separate different lobes. Like on the left lung, this fissure just separate the superior and inferior lobe because there are only two lobes on the left lung, while the right oblique fissure separate the middle lobe and the inferior lobe, as the right lung has three lobes. Then let's take the end portion of the lung, the end of the alveoli, to find what is in there. Good, it looks like this. So around it we found the connective tissue. Then here we see the alveolar sacs. Before the alveolar sac we find the alveolar duct that takes air into the alveolar sac. Here we see the mucus gland. It's the one that produces mucus. Here we see the mucosal lining. That is the lining of the inner side. Here we see the pulmonary artery in a blue color, then the pulmonary vein in a red color. Then we see the atrium. The atrium here is the end of the bronchial tree where it takes air into the alveoli. Good. Then around these alveoli we find what we call the capillary beds. That is where the gas exchange takes place, where blood takes oxygen and then release carbon dioxide into the lungs to be exhaled outside.
Guys, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And please rate the video, share it to your colleagues. And don't forget to place subscribe button if you have not yet subscribed. May God bless you. See you in another video next time. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to place like, subscribe and the bell.